Shot
That's
several
Mud's
times.
place.
Encountered by police while leaving the scene of this horrible crime.
You didn't have to shoot him, man. He made a move. He ain't made no move, man. He did. Lying, man. I was looking right at you.
What do you write about?
I write what's in my heart.
And what's that?
A poet with a punch. The legend, the myth, the Gemini king of chaos and consciousness, Tupac Amaru Shakur. When I say this man had it all, talent, drama, poetry, and a whole lot of attitude, I mean every word. Even though he's been gone since '96, his name still burns hotter than the Vegas Strip at midnight. Grab your durags, your nose rings, and maybe light a candle, cause we're diving deep into the unstoppable force that was Tupac. And don't expect some boring history talk. We're spilling every drop of the truth, with a side of lyrical fire. His poetry could move souls, but his final words, according to a Las Vegas police officer, they weren't soft or poetic. They were pure defiance. Fuck, you can feel that energy, right? That's the kind of spirit Tupac had till the very end. Wild, unfiltered, unshaken. Born Lasagne Parish Crooks on June 16, 1971. Yeah, that was his real government name. But just a year later, his mom, the fearless Afeni Shakur, a revolutionary from the Black Panther movement, renamed him Tupac Amaru Shakur. And that name? It meant something powerful. Tupac Amaru came from the last Incan emperor. It means shining serpent. Talk about being destined for greatness. The man was born with main character energy before that was even a thing. And Shakur? That's Arabic for thankful or appreciative. Even his name was a message. And get this, he was born just a month after Afeni beat major conspiracy charges as part of the Panther 21 case. This man literally entered the world already winning battles. Born into fire, raised by revolution, Tupac didn't just live history, he was history. No wonder Tupac had so much to say, and zero filter while saying it. Before he was shouting, "All eyes on me," all eyes were literally on him in the theater. That's right. Young Pac was studying ballet at the Baltimore School for the Arts. He even played the Mouse King in The Nutcracker. Can you imagine little Pac in a crown, spinning across the stage with perfect form? I can't lie, that image is both hilarious and legendary. But behind the stage lights, he was already showing his poetic soul. At school, Tupac met Jada Pinkett. Yes, that Jada. Their bond ran deep. So deep that he wrote heartfelt poems for her, like Jada and the Tears in Cupid's Eyes. That's not just crush level, that's soul level connection. Jada even turned down a movie role once because the director and Pac had issues. Now that's loyalty, and a little drama too. And get this, while most teens were bumping the latest hits, Pac's playlist was wild. He vibed to Public Enemy, Kate Bush, U2, and even Sinead O'Connor. Picture him nodding to Wuthering Heights like, "Yo, this kinda slaps." He wasn't boxed in. He had range. He was also a total Shakespeare fan. Pac said he related to Romeo and Macbeth because they were passionate, flawed, and full of fire. He saw himself in those tragic heroes, and honestly, he wasn't wrong. The man was born to perform, whether on stage or behind a mic. After his ballet and Shakespeare days in Baltimore, Tupac made the move to Marin City, California, where he jumped into the local hip-hop scene. He went by MC New York. Not Cali, not West Side. New York. That's dual energy at its finest. Then, in 1990, destiny came calling when Tupac linked up with Digital Underground. And that's when everything started to explode. He started out carrying gear and dancing backup, just a roadie with rhythm. But it didn't take long for everyone to see this kid was built different. When Tupac jumped on Digital Underground's track Same Song, everything changed. Boom! The world met Tupac Shakur, no longer MC New York, but a voice too bold to be ignored. In 1991, he dropped Tupacalypse Now, and the industry wasn't ready for what hit them. It was raw, fiery, and brutally honest. He called out police brutality, poverty, and all the real-life struggles people tried to pretend didn't exist. Songs like Brenda's Got a Baby hit deep. Heartbreaking, powerful, and fearless. Of course, it caused major controversy. Politicians and critics were out here clutching pearls, saying stuff like, "This album is a menace to society." Please. The man was just telling the truth. Let the artist speak. By 1993, Pac wasn't just hot, he was unstoppable. His second album, Strictly For My Nig Gazy brought even more heat. He gave us I Get Around, the anthem that had everyone dancing, and Keep Your Head Up, a message of love and respect for women everywhere. That track still hits the soul. The album went platinum, selling over 1.3 million copies, proving Pac wasn't just a rapper, he was a movement. And let's clear something up. NIGGAZ wasn't just a wild title. It actually stood for Never Ignorant, Getting Goals Accomplished. That's pure genius. Pac was flipping street slang into empowerment. That's when his concept of thug life came alive. It stood for the hate you give little infants effins everybody. A harsh truth about how society fails the youth. That's social commentary with a punch. By late '93, Tupac built his crew Thug Life and dropped Thug Life Volume 1 in '94. That album gave us classics like Pour Out a Little Liquor and solidified Pac as not just an artist, but a voice for every struggle that couldn't be silenced. The album was too hot to handle. Critics said it was too raw, too real, so the label had to tone it down. But even with all that, Pac never stopped grinding. He was unstoppable, performing unreleased tracks like Out on Bail at the 1994 Source Awards. Wild, right? Even when the industry tried to dim his light, Pac stood tall, 10 toes down, refusing to fold. Then came 1994, right before Above the Rim dropped, and everything flipped. Tupac was shot 5 times during a robbery at a New York recording studio. The world froze, thinking he wouldn't make it. But he did. He survived, though he came out changed, scarred, furious, and convinced that someone close had betrayed him. That moment turned his world into chaos. Here's what makes it even crazier. Before all that, Tupac and Biggie Smalls were actually friends? Yeah, you heard that right. Friends, not enemies. Biggie had admired Pac so much he asked a street contact to introduce them. And Pac? He welcomed him in. He brought Biggie on stage. They even recorded tracks together like Running from the Police. Word on the block is Biggie wanted Tupac to manage him, but Pac, always seeing the bigger picture, told him straight up, "Nah, Puffy's your guy." Still, the friendship wasn't balanced. Pac was already living the fast Hollywood life, movie deals, fame, spotlight, while Biggie was still building his empire from the ground up. Pac even invited him to join Thug Life, but Big decided to start his own crew, Junior Mafia, with Lil Kim and Lil Cease. Then came that fateful night, the quad studio shooting, and everything shattered. Tupac didn't believe it was just a random robbery. He was convinced it was an inside setup, that someone he trusted had played him dirty. From that moment on, trust was gone, loyalty was questioned, and one of hip-hop's most explosive feuds was born. While the chaos kept spinning around him, Tupac dropped his third album, Me Against the World, in March 1995. And get this, he did it from behind bars. Yeah, you heard that right. Pac was recording chart-topping hits while locked up in a jail jumpsuit. That's a different kind of hustle. He became the first artist in history to have a #1 album while sitting in a cell. Talk about moving like a legend. But we gotta talk about why he was there. Back in 1993, Tupac was accused by Ayanna Jackson of sexual assault involving multiple men. He was acquitted of sodomy, but convicted of sexual abuse for inappropriate touching and sentenced to prison. Pac always claimed he was innocent, saying he never hurt anyone and that the system was out to break him. It was one of the darkest and most complicated chapters of his life, a storm he never truly escaped. Even through all that pain, Me Against the World felt like Tupac handing his soul to the world and saying, "Here, feel what I feel." Every track hit deep. The album sold 240,000 copies in its first week, setting records for solo male rappers at the time. Dear Mama had gangsters hugging their mothers and shedding tears in their lowriders. So Many Tears cut deep, and Temptations showed his softer side. The music video even had more celebrity cameos than a 90s award show since Pac couldn't appear in it himself. Even locked up, he stayed winning. The Soul Train Awards gave him a trophy while he was still behind bars. Imagine that, sitting in prison but still dominating the charts. That's power, that's legacy. Then came the plot twist that changed everything. All Eyes on Me. When Tupac signed with Death Row Records, he didn't just drop another album. He unleashed a double-disc monster that would shake hip-hop to its core. He didn't just drop one, he dropped 2. All Eyes on Me was the first double album in hip-hop history, and it hit the scene like a sonic earthquake. California Love and How Do You Want It weren't just songs, they were anthems. Tupac came through dripping in Versace bandanas and pure confidence, flexing like the king he knew he was. The numbers don't lie. The album sold 566,000 copies in its first week. By 1998, it went 9 times platinum, and by 2014, it officially hit diamond status. That's over 10 million copies sold, certified and stamped. That's not success, that's immortality. And then, the diss track heard round the world, Hit 'Em Up. That wasn't just a song, that was a lyrical nuke. Tupac came for everyone, Biggie, Diddy, Mobb Deep, and the whole Bad Boy crew. The energy was ruthless. That track turned the simmering East Coast versus West Coast tension into a full-blown firestorm. It wasn't just rap beef anymore, it was history in the making. All Eyes on Me wasn't just a hit album, it was hip-hop history in motion. It swept the 1997 Soul Train Awards, snagging R&B Soul or Rap Album of the Year, and Pac himself was crowned favorite rap hip-hop artist at the American Music Awards. Every time his name was mentioned, crowds went wild. He was the moment. But with the fame came chaos. Pac wasn't just booked for shows, he was booked in court too. The man had more court dates than red carpets. Back in 1993, there was a wild headline. Tupac shot 2 off-duty police officers in Atlanta. Sounds crazy, right? But plot twist. The charges were dropped when it turned out those cops were actually the aggressors. Pac had acted in self-defense. From music charts to courtroom drama, Tupac was living life at full volume. No pause button, no fear, just legacy in motion. Before all that fame and fury hit full blast, Tupac was already standing up to the system. Back in 1991, he straight up sued the Oakland Police Department for brutality and won. He walked away with $43,000, proving early on that he wasn't afraid to fight back. But life wasn't all wins. In 1992, tragedy struck when a gun registered in his name was accidentally used in an incident that took the life of a 6-year-old boy. It was heartbreaking. The family later reached a settlement with Tupac's estate. Moments like that haunted him and showed how chaos constantly surrounded his world. And then came another headline. Tupac literally punched out Allen Hughes, the director of Menace II Society, after a fallout over casting. He ended up serving 15 days in jail for it. Pac was living fast, making hits, and collecting misdemeanors and weapon charges like they were trophies. He even got sued by C. Dolores Tucker, a political activist who claimed his lyrics were corrupting the youth. But in true Pac fashion, the case got dismissed because freedom of speech stays undefeated. Say what you want about him, but his voice couldn't be silenced. And don't forget, Pac wasn't just a rapper. He was a real actor with talent that stretched beyond the mic. From Juice to Poetic Justice alongside Janet Jackson, he showed range, emotion, and charisma that couldn't be faked. If his life hadn't been cut short, there's no doubt he could have been walking red carpets at the Oscars. Now, let's talk about his love life. Messy, magnetic, and unforgettable. Tupac's heart was just as wild as his career. He shared deep connections with Jada Pinkett, Madonna, and Lisa Left Eye Lopes, all intense, creative women who matched his energy. While in jail, he even married Keisha Morris, though the marriage was later annulled after his release. But his truest love? Kidada Jones, daughter of Quincy Jones. They were engaged when he passed, and she once said he was the love of her life. That right there shows that behind all the chaos and controversy, Tupac was still a man who loved hard, lived bold, and left a mark no one could erase. If Tupac's life was a movie, the final act would have been an all-out blockbuster. Drama, danger, betrayal, and twists you wouldn't believe. So brace yourself, because the night of September 7th, 1996, everything went from chill to chaos in seconds. That night, Tupac was in Las Vegas with Suge Knight to watch the Mike Tyson versus Bruce Seldon fight. Ringside, shining, the picture of success. But after the match, things took a dark turn. In the lobby of the MGM Grand, Tupac and his crew got into a brawl with Orlando Baby Lane Anderson, a known Southside Compton Crip who'd allegedly tried to rob one of Death Row's guys earlier that year. The whole fight was caught on security cameras. No secrets, no rumors. It was right there on tape. Later that night, Pac and Suge were cruising down Las Vegas Boulevard in a black BMW, music blasting, energy high. They got pulled over by cops for the music being too loud and missing plates. But get this, the plates were sitting in the trunk, so the officers let them go with a warning. 15 minutes later, at a red light near East Flamingo Road, everything changed forever. A white Cadillac pulled up beside their car, and out of nowhere, gunfire erupted. Tupac was hit 4 times, 1 bullet piercing his lung, while Suge got grazed in the head by shrapnel. The scene was chaos. Shattered glass, screeching tires, flashing lights. The city that never sleeps suddenly froze. Tupac was rushed to University Medical Center, placed on life support, and for 6 long days, the world held its breath. But on September 13, 1996, at 4:03 p.m., Tupac Amaru Shakur was pronounced dead. He was only 25 years old, gone way too soon, leaving behind a legacy too big to ever fade. His death sent shockwaves through music, culture, and the streets. Fans couldn't believe it, and conspiracy theories exploded, from claims he faked his death to whispers about revenge and cover-ups. And decades later, the story still wasn't over. In 2023, Dwayne "Keffi D. Davis was arrested in connection with Tupac's murder. His trial is set for 2026, meaning even now, the world is still chasing answers to one of hip-hop's biggest mysteries. For now, Dwayne E. Davis is still behind bars, but the story didn't end there. Not even close. After Tupac's death, things got strange, and somehow, perfectly, Tupac. In one of the wildest tributes ever, members of his crew, the Outlaws, claimed they mixed some of Pac's ashes with marijuana and smoked it. Yeah, you heard that right. They said it was their way to keep Pac's spirit alive. Smoking the essence of Tupac himself. Only Pac's circle could turn grief into something that legendary. Before he passed, Tupac had already laid down one final masterpiece, the Don Illuminati, The 7-Day Theory. And get this, he recorded and wrote the entire album in just 7 days. He wrote and recorded all the vocals in 3, and the mixing took 4 more. That's not just work ethic, that's genius on turbo mode. He did it all under the name Machiavelli, inspired by the Italian philosopher Machiavelli, who wrote about power, strategy, and survival. Sounds exactly like Pac, right? When the album dropped posthumously, it hit the world like a thunderclap. It debuted straight at #1 on the Billboard charts with one of the biggest first-week sales of 1996. Fans said it was pure emotion. Pain, fury, and truth all rolled into one. Every bar sounded like Pac was rapping from beyond, like his voice refused to die. Tracks like Hail Mary and To Live and Die in LA carried an eerie, prophetic energy, almost as if he knew what was coming. The album was powerful, haunting, and unforgettable. By 1999, it had gone quadruple platinum, and in 2006, MTV ranked it #9 on the list of hip-hop's greatest albums. The Don Illuminati, The 7-Day Theory, wasn't just an album. It was Tupac's mic drop from the afterlife. Even though his body was gone, his words, his voice, and his fire stayed alive in every beat, proving that legends like him never really die. They just turn their truth into timeless sound. Now here's where things get even juicier. Tupac's alter ego, Machiavelli, wasn't just a stage name. It was inspired by the infamous philosopher Niccolo Machiavelli, who famously wrote about faking your death to outsmart your enemies. Yeah, you can already see where this is heading. Tupac basically handed the world an open door to start one of the biggest conspiracy theories in music history. Could Tupac still be alive, chilling somewhere under the radar, plotting the ultimate comeback? The whispers haven't stopped since '96. With a name like Machiavelli, he made sure people would always question what was real and what was legend. Some say it was all symbolism. Others swear he's sipping tea in Cuba. Either way, Pac made sure his mystery would live forever. Then came 2006, the 10th anniversary of his passing. His mother, Afeni Shakur, made a powerful move. She took Tupac's ashes to Soweto, South Africa, the land of his ancestors, for a memorial that was nothing short of epic. Imagine that. Tupac, the man who rapped about freedom, pain, and change, finally being honored in a place built on struggle and revolution. It was a full circle moment. From the streets of West Coast hip-hop to the heart of South Africa, his energy came home. The ceremony was pure poetry, music, love, and power. People from all over gathered to celebrate the man who showed the world that words could be weapons and art could start revolutions. Tupac wasn't just a rapper. He was a global symbol of resistance, a voice that refused to be silenced. Even now, decades later, his impact stretches far beyond beats and rhymes. Tupac was a force of nature, a poet, an actor, a visionary, and yes, a myth. He didn't just make hits, he rewrote the culture. He challenged systems, spoke truth to power, and gave a voice to the voiceless. He was loud, brilliant, flawed, and completely unforgettable. Whether you see him as an artist, a leader, or a legend, one thing's for sure, all eyes will always be on him. Tupac Shakur wasn't just part of hip-hop, he was hip-hop, and his legacy still moves the world like a heartbeat that refuses to fade. Here's the wildest twist of them all. When Tupac passed in 1996, his net worth was estimated at only around $200,000. Yeah, you heard that right. Just 200 grand for a man whose face, voice, and music were everywhere. Crazy, right? So what happened? Well, the truth's not glamorous. Shady contracts, endless legal fees, bail money, and the fact that Suge Knight wasn't exactly handing out financial literacy pamphlets at Death Row Records. Money was flowing all around Pac, but not directly to him. He didn't even own most of his masters, meaning others made more off his art than he did while he was alive. If you adjust that number for today's inflation, it'd be roughly $400,000, still shockingly low for someone who became one of the most recognized icons on the planet. But here's the kicker. After his death, his estate has earned over $40 million, proving that even in the afterlife, Tupac's influence is pure gold. But forget the money. That was never what defined him. Tupac left behind a legacy richer than any fortune, words that healed, music that moved generations, and a message that still hits deep decades later. Whether you believe he's out there somewhere living in peace or watching us from the stars, one thing's undeniable. The world has never been the same since Tupac Shakur stepped on the scene. His voice still echoes through every beat, every protest, and every dreamer fighting to be heard. If you felt that, make sure to like, subscribe, share, and drop a comment below about your favorite Tupac moment. Let's keep his story and his spirit alive forever.